You know what? So at first, the pattern didn't make any sense. And I think in life, oftentimes we go through the motions. And in the Filipino martial arts, there's a lot of people going through the motions. And this is a mistake in life. But when I told him, I said, man, you're a great teacher because you explain the fight. And the fight is the why. So then you're training on purpose. Then you're living on purpose. And I like to tell people, when you wake up each day and go through the motions, you go to sleep, you did a lot of busy things, but you didn't do meaningful things. And when you don't do meaningful things, you go to sleep with regret. You know it. When you lay down, I did a whole lot, but I didn't do anything meaningful. If you live your life like that on your last day, you will die without meaning.
That the first one we did angled up and the second one we did angled down. That's just an agreement between he and I, because we're not going to be like, hit me in the face and now I hit you. We're just like, okay, we're just going to do that as an agreement, but we're still practicing our witties. So one more time. Boom. Second. That's our motion. Again. Up, down. Okay.
So this afternoon's module might have just looked like a stick drill, but there's a lot of complexities going on here. What you're doing is you're building patterns, and then you're breaking patterns. Okay, so you're learning fundamental movements in a way that is easy for someone to comprehend. And then you're taking combinations of movements and adapting them and combining them and applying them so that you're actually almost free-flowing at times. If the pattern breaks, you're able to respond to it appropriately. Just like in life, you got to kind of roll with the punches. You know, if something happens that you didn't expect, be able to just kind of flow with it. You know, and it's like the martial arts principle of someone pushes, you pull, someone pulls, you push, and so you just got to kind of take the energy that you're given and make the most out of it, and be able to just adapt and take advantage of opportunities. And when hard times come, then you got to be able to just kind of roll with it and make the most of it, and kind of look at things on the bright side.
There's a lot of pressure on me to change levels, change directions all at once, you know, and that's good. I need to practice doing that because I don't get to choose. So I think you're going to be doing the DAKUP. So you go here. I need to do that. I need to be like, as soon as I felt that happen, I was like, I need to change levels and I need to like do something else. Okay? And we're gonna, over time, the later part of this is going to be developing some sensitivity of like, if I feel this, like I'm like, oh, okay, like he's probably gonna push up. Or if I feel this, he's probably gonna push down, and then starting to think a little bit about how do you respond to that. It may be different. It may not be what I'm doing, maybe something else, but at least you're getting a variety of ways that people might decide to break out of that. So again, if he doesn't chamber, I'm like, shit. Like, my first thing is like, I'm down there and I'm trying to strike on my way out, so he's also thinking about that, and I'm like, shit, be underneath that. So just be mindful. Right now I'm not gonna add a new one on yet. I will. But what I want you to do is just do the 3. Go back and forth, but don't necessarily say which one of those 3 you're gonna do. I want people to just get used to, like, if I feed, and whichever one he decides to go for, he goes up there, right? So I know that that was that one. I need to go out here. He feeds. You know, oh shit, like he's like, oh, I gotta do that one. Like, he's gonna start to get a sense of when the hand goes in here, I better just be ready to clear that off. If his hand, feed, right? He immediately was like, okay, like that's what's happening. I better jam that and I better get ready to like, whatever, do what I can do from here. So I want you guys to, even if you don't go through the whole cycle of life. I want you to at least get used to like when someone puts my hand there or here, what are some of the ways that I can respond to that? Which direction is he probably gonna go? He's gonna push up, he's gonna push down, he's gonna follow through and be watching where he's going.
When he explained the fight, the why, meaning comes with struggle. So when he explained the why and we actually struggled, then the drill made sense. So there's no purpose in doing drills or going through the motions in life without your why. And you should have a struggle, and that'll make life make sense.
I like the fact that I have to overcome a half beat of his time. So I'm already behind the 8 ball, but if I can make it out, that means I'm twice as fast as he is.
A lot of times we practice that we get to do everything from the position of advantage. Just practice like, oh, that sucks, I was a little behind, and like, I get out of it.
And what I'm thinking, like with drills like this, the way that I can feed it too, you see we start off, we're running what, 20%? Yeah. We're 20%, 20%. And I feed, boom, 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 boom. And then when it comes to the point where he wants to, you know, he usually, it's like, oh shit, to trigger that, to get that biofeedback, that, oh my God, it's time to work now. Yeah. So later on, when we up the game and we're doing it harder, that's already built in place. You get that, it's like a martial coma. You're just walking through the drill and doing it and repeating it, and you're not even paying attention to whatever the hell you're doing. So you get that little bit of that tactile feedback on these drills. It breaks it up and it forces the body. It's like, oh, time to react, time to move now.
So there's a lot of things. Some of it being, one of the biggest things I noticed with this martial art, any martial art, or anything that we aspire to become is like our relationship to our identity. So often, for me, for example, I'm new to the community, so I have lower expectations on what I'm supposed to be able to do and how good I'm supposed to be, so the pressure is off. Likewise, if I were to go into a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community, I have a ton of pressure, or a mixed martial arts community, because I'm seen as a certain guy, so I should perform a certain way. And I noticed that even in the room, you know, people have a certain identity behind them being a Filipino martial artist, and then when things become difficult or patterns are unpredictable and there's a sense of frustration, the big thing that they're fighting is not just the technique itself, but they're fighting their own ego, their own identity about it. And in life, you learn that your ego can be one of your greatest assets, or it can be one of the biggest obstacles you're ever going to have. If you can embrace your ego as a thing that kind of pushes you forward to kind of work through adversity, then it's a good thing, right? If it's something that paralyzes you, right? Like I assign some sort of like self-worth to the fact that I can't get this move or this technique, then it hinders you, it holds you back. And I found that once you can put that out of the way, then it just becomes fun, it becomes play. But that's just how life is, right?
We're doing fencing line, thrusts. Again, instead of stirring the pot, I'm actually like keeping a thrusting angle so that I have possibilities here. And I thrust direct to my mid-load, and then I check. Then I jam forward, and instead of clearing and stepping to the side, I'm going to assert my authority and push towards him. I'm going to do this witty and step to the outside. And here, when I have our forearms together, it's where I created all my possibilities, because I have the quadrants I can go into. And I'm choosing to reach under the elbow, and as I push it across, I turn my hand over, and I move to the outside. Then we rotate upward, and then as our hands go out, we're working on also following the hand. And then we do a broken strike, clear our legs out, and then we're back at the beginning. And then I'll thrust it in.
Where does this fall as far as competing first curriculum?
I mean, I feel like this is from an early era of it, and it's before that Sabayan, because again, he was really trying to expedite movement when he's doing Sabayan. He's like, I'm going to thrust, and then I'm going to move and take advantage of the outside line. This, for me, really talks about the idea that you might get tangled in there and don't feel at a loss. Feel like there are a lot of possibilities, so I think it's still worthwhile to do DAKUP PUNYO, because it is from an old school thing, and maybe it speaks to the idea of being in a clinch situation or being engaged with somebody who knows how to use that third hand principle or whatever else. It kind of talks about that.
If this was the only touch point that a Pakiti Tertian gets to ever have with this particular sequence, what learning tips might you have for them if they're struggling through it and not quite getting it?
I think that there's definitely this element, and it's not only to this, it's kind of in common throughout, is that there's an element of position and there's an element of intention, which sometimes I say, like, assert your authority. Like, know where you want to go and then do what you need to do to be there.